A while ago, early into my spiritual journey, I ran into a story. This one concerned Ram Dass, a student of Buddhism, consulting Maharaji, his master, on the nature of suffering in this reality. Paraphrased, Ram Dass asks, "Wise master, how can one be in love with this reality when it contains such violence, such suffering? Nowhere can you go that you will not find war and famine." Maharaji responded with a solemn smile, answering simply and honestly, "My student, can't you see that it is still all beautiful?" I think about this nearly daily. So many interpretations can be drawn from such short verse, and here I will go into a couple of my favorites. The universe is still beautiful. The most obvious interpretation, to me, is thusly. Despite there being great suffering in the world, there is also still beauty within it. One day, a person may lose everything, and yet, in the future, they may smile at the sight of a balloon or a bed of flowers. This means to say, beauty can still be enjoyed despite the existence of suffering. As even my past self with depression will tell you, there are glimpses of beauty, as fleeting as they may be. The next interpretation is a far more challenging one. You may look upon war and see suffering, and you may look upon war and see beauty. Admittedly, this is a difficult philosophy to believe. One's first response may be revulsion at the implication that they are to find beauty in such abject and pointless suffering. So I'd like to share my line of thought when dwelling on such an interpretation. Firstly, one may consider war to be as natural as the beautiful things we typically enjoy. The idea of war was not a bane dispensed upon us by some alien power. It is a natural phenomenon that has grown from the earth in the same way a balloon or a flower bed might have. Secondly, one may consider war to be as natural as the challenging things we typically enjoy. I put enjoy in quotes there. There must be value in watching the natural progression of violence, even if it ends in annihilation, in my opinion. Otherwise, the nature documentary would not show scenes of the lion hunting gazelle. Otherwise, many an intelligent science fiction would not hone in on the nature of war and apocalypse. This makes me wonder at the reasons we find such things challenging. Is it merely narrative? One of our advantages in being human is to have not just blatant reality in front of us, but also to have the story that goes with it. With suffering of any kind comes the narrative of suffering, and narratives, undeniably, help us feel whatever emotion they intend to portray. Perhaps Maharaji is implying here that one can take to a perspective in which war is beautiful in this flavor, with the narrative softened away and the natural unfolding of human interaction on display to be observed, as one observes and finds value in history. Thank you for listening, and as always, good night, dreamers.